And here we are again. I want to start in today by talking about how the breathing is critically important. And Dr. Chu, in his wisdom, added the Qigong breathing to the program. And the more people I speak with, the more I get the idea that it's a nice thing to do, but very few people are doing the breathing. Very simplistically, Dr. Chu initially added the Qigong breathing to the program to increase the flow of oxygen through your body and to make you feel better. I have been interacting more and more with the people who do the program. Now think about this. When you go to a hospital, excuse me, the first thing they do, they stick a thing in your nose and they're pumping more oxygen into your body. Oxygen is something your body needs to live on. The Qigong breathing, which, as I said, Dr. Chu initially added to increase the flow of oxygen, etc., does something else. It causes your body to begin to increase its production of the telomerase enzyme. The telomerase enzyme is critical to our immune system and to the aging process. Now, very simply, once a month, approximately, every cell in your body is replaced. At the tips of your DNA, there is a little antenna, sort of like the one on the roof of your car. When cells divide, the DNA divides, and the telomerase enzyme is needed to replace the telomeres. Your immune system, your aging process are connected. We have discovered the scientific evidence that the breathing activity increases the flow of oxygen through your body and increases the body's production of the telomerase enzyme. What does that mean? It means your immune system is going to get stronger and you're going to slow and reverse the aging process. Plus, the more oxygen you have in your body, the more energy is sent to your cells. What does it take to do it? It's part of saying, I'm important enough to take care of me because it feels good. You go on an airplane, there's a problem. The bag comes down, you put it on. What for? For oxygen. And what do they tell you? Put yours on first and then help anyone else. Loving yourself is the key to everything, because how you feel and how you act based upon those feelings is critical. You've heard me say that the universe is interreactive. You've heard me say that Dr. Chu said that all behavior is determined. I have been looking at things that make no sense to me. And Dr. Chu said, Dr. Schwartz, when you see something that doesn't make sense, and since everything has to make sense, it just means you're not looking at it in the proper way. Part of loving ourselves is stopping and breathing in a manner that works for you and your body. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be more relaxed. It's going to slow the aging process. And it is also going to, if I understand correctly, the length of your telomeres, which are at the end of your DNA, determine lifespan. And as you get older, the telomeres get shorter. What does it mean if you slow the getting shorter, stop the getting shorter, and increase the length? To me, it feels and thinks very obvious. Do it, and it feels good. Now, here is the next thing. I have been totally and absolutely puzzled. I've been watching television lately, and I see this commercial. A big star, do my program, and in 2 months, we're going to tell you you're going to lose 18 pounds in 2 months. And then I see all this other stuff. For 23 plus years, I have been saying 15 pounds every 30 days. Now, I have also been saying that you're only going to lose fat. I have also said that your food bill is going to drop dramatically. Here's a program that has worked for over 1,000 years. Yet here are people spending thousands and thousands of dollars for commercials. And here I am looking at you and saying, how do we make sense out of this? What is it that you cannot, will not stop and say, I'm important enough to do these things for me? I noticed another program. I listen to it on the radio all the time. They promise 20 pounds in 40 days. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they spend on advertising. Their costs are at least 10 times what our program is. And no one says what we're talking about. In total health, if I do your program, the acupressure beads with the food, you will lose at least 15 pounds every month. Loving yourself is the key. I spoke to a woman today who's finished a month and a half on the program, and she's lost 34 pounds. And she said to me, Dr. Schwartz, why didn't I know about this? And I said, because I don't advertise. And why don't you advertise? Well, Dr. Chu made us a promise that we would keep the program at a point where anyone could afford. I went this week, I didn't tell anybody, on the program. I had 4 milk days and 3 fruit vegetable days. I started with milk. And I'm a lactate milk person. I didn't have any yogurt. I did have chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. And so I had about 3 quarts of milk this week. It's around $6, $7. And fruits and vegetables. And those fruits and vegetables cost me, let's say, another $10. So I spent $15 on myself this week on food. I lost 6 pounds. I was very excited because I bought the Listerine Ready tabs because I knew he was going to be talking to me, and he was. And every single time that he nudged me, come on, what are you doing? It looks so good. Look at those other people. Every single time I put a Ready tab in my mouth and I said, I'm using you to stop me from doing what I crave to do. But I'm really not hungry and I don't need to do it. But if you don't keep quiet, if you don't stop bothering me, I'm going to give in. In went a Ready tab. In went a Ready tab. In went 3 Tic Tacs. In the week I was on the program, I've lost close to 10 pounds. I didn't cheat. I thought about it quite a number of times and was so excited by one simple fact. Every single time I did it, I was proud of me. because I realized how difficult it was to give in. No one would know. If I were on the program, Dr. Schwartz would know because he has to give me my point and I have to give him my weight. But that was fine. It felt so good to make myself so important that I took back control of my life. Now, what we need to talk about is what we need to do to be proud of ourselves. How good it feels to be proud of ourselves. To recognize that if we're losing weight, and I was losing weight for me, I was not happy. I've done a little bit here, I've done a little bit there, and over the past few months, I guess I've put on around 10 pounds. Not giving in was the most difficult part, because there were times when people in my home were eating something that I really wanted. And I didn't give in because I couldn't. The moment I put those ready tabs in my mouth, it was over. I had given up and taken control back at the same time. I had given up arguing with my other self, the temptation part of myself. I would have given in to the temptation part of myself. But when I put the ready tab in my mouth, the taste of the ready tab was so strong, I realized even if I gave into temptation, I would not be able to give in, because the contamination of the taste of the ready tab and the taste of what I was trying to give temptation to wouldn't mix. I don't know how many people I've spoken to this week. In the office, there were many things to do. Here, I man the phones, I answer questions, I give out points, but there's a lot of downtime. And it's so nice to be able to speak with people and to talk about how our early experiences with running away from discomfort led to habit patterns where we get rid of discomfort by using food. And don't minimize it. Good food, flavorful food, just thinking about it in a generic kind of way, is extremely comforting. But what I discovered was when I put the candies in my mouth, there was a double thought. I wanted to give in to that cheat, that craving, because I knew, based upon my experience, it would feel good. At the same time, I realized that I would not feel emotionally good. I would have felt weak, that I gave in, that I needed to do this, that it only satisfied me for a moment. And so there was a sense of pride that got built in. Habits are formed and are done without thought. Generally speaking, after we've done something that comforted us but wasn't necessarily good for us, we have guilt and remorse and second thoughts, but it's over and done with. Until the next time. Building a new habit. And that's why I was so excited when I came up with the ABS, Admit, Breathe, Substitute. Because I had a methodology that would work 100% of the time, and I was in charge of it. How often can you say you're in charge, that it works, that you feel good being the boss, and you get a bonus? What did you want? You got it. What you send out into the universe, like attracts like. And the more you focus on that part of self-love, which is not narcissistic. Narcissism is simply being in love with being in love of oneself. I saw my reflection. I liked it. I kept looking at that reflection. I liked it even more. I fell in love with that reflection. And therefore, I built habits to do everything that I possibly could to keep that reflection the way in which I saw it, because it made me feel so good to feel good about feeling so good. Didn't get me very much. As I told you, when I met Dr. Chu, I weighed almost 300 pounds. And in 3 months, I lost 84 pounds. And it's not if I can do it, you can do it. I was so excited that it happened. Now, let's take it apart. More and more people are signing up for AccuWeight. It's a 3-phase program that you have to put into your head. You're going to be with you for the rest of your life. Are you the you that you want to be together with? I don't know about you, but I talk to me very often. And sometimes I don't like the conversation. I had a woman talk to me today and say she loves the program, but how do you keep it a secret? And I asked her, why do you want to keep it a secret? She says, Dr. Schwartz, when I tell people what the program is all about, the milk, the fruits and vegetables, the milk, the fruits and vegetables, I don't like the feelings I get from many of them. A sense of negativism or criticism. And I said to her, these people that we're talking about, what makes them so important? And we were not talking about situations where other people are your boss or relative who's very close that you have to deal with on a daily basis. I like feeling good about myself. I like being able to choose me over doing something that doesn't let me feel good about me. Hello, whoever you are. Oh, Doc Gabby just clicked on. Are you home or you are still away, Gabby? Kind of let me know. You know I have a special affection for Gabby. Losing 157 pounds in 11 months. You can see I can't even now help being excited about that. Now, how do we communicate in a way which says that if I can control anything, I know I can control me? There are very, very few things other than that I can control. Loving yourself means taking care of yourself. And what I need to help you understand is that like attracts like. There is no magic. Things do not very often change overnight. But when we change the way we deal with ourselves, it causes us to think twice about how we deal with others. When I love me, I love loving me. It feels good. The magic protocol was a way of me loving me, so I loved doing it. And people discovered that I was doing the magic protocol and that I was loving me. What they didn't understand is that it changed me. Because now when I deal with you, I'm more sincere than I ever have been. And what do I mean by that? When I deal with you, I have to watch how I behave, because if I don't deal with you in that same, and I'm not making a parallel, way in which I love myself, how can I love me and not be loving towards you? And what I discover more and more is the sincerity of it. You have no idea how good it feels when you share with me your successes. And to realize that your successes came out of the fact that you took control of your life and recognized that since all behavior is determined, a person who acts towards me, and I'm going to use the word unfriendly because I don't want to go looking for words. Someone who acts towards me in an unfriendly way, they have the problem. And I'm not going to stoke the fire. Dr. Schwartz, I cheated. That's wonderful for you to share it with me. You say you care about me enough to tell me that you did something that doesn't feel good, and you're trying to deal with it, and that's why you share it with me. How could that not feel good for both of us? But you're also asking me, could you assist me in some way? You deserve no less than I deserve no less than you. We're all deserving. If our actions and our behaviors reflect that, life changes. Now, interaction is critical. Passivity, and you've heard me say this many times in the past. If you are passive, you set yourself up to be victimized, to be part of a scam. I think I told you I almost got caught in the grandparent scam. I pick up the phone and I hear a voice that sounds like my grandson, and I hear, "Hey, Grandpa, I'm in trouble." And I called him by name. And I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, "I was in an automobile accident and I've been arrested." And I went through this whole kind of thing until my wife and my daughter helped me recognize that I really didn't know the truth. A few weeks ago, another phone call came in, And it was Grandpa, and it was my granddaughter. She's only 14. And she says, I've been in an accident. Now, that was a goodie for me because 14 years old, she's not driving. So I realized it was a scam. Why place ourselves in a position to be victimized in life when all we're doing is escaping when we could be building and creating? The more you love yourself, the better it feels. The more it feels good about loving yourself, the more you take control of yourself. The more you take control of yourself, the better it feels because it feels good to be in control. There are weaknesses, there are temptations, they're all real. And they're habitual, and they were built in to give us comfort. Actually verbalizing. And in our case, we have these support groups, we have this, we have WhatsApp, we have questions that you can ask, we can interact with each other and grow. That growth always in time pays off. Now, I want you to recognize that the Qigong breathing is incredibly powerful. Oxygen is critical. We can't live without it. It cures disease. It prevents disease. It gives us strength and energy. Now, all you have to do there we go. Let's see what is here. Dr. Schwartz, I did AccuWeight, lost 65 pounds and have kept off my weight. I've gained 20 back since I lost, and I cannot seem to drop. Is it hormones? I doubt very much whether it's hormones. Weight gain is very simple. You need a certain amount of gas to keep the engine running. And if you look at nutrition facts, you'll see most of them are based upon 2,000 calories a day. Some people's a little more, some people's a little less, but it's, let's say, even around 15. If you take in more calories, and it's very easy, then you expend, over a period of time, you're going to gain weight. This program does something very unique. It's not the only one, but it's the only one that does it in this way. You are not taking in enough calories to sustain yourself, energy-wise. Milk, fruits, vegetables, fat, protein, amino acids, enzymes, fructose. Total basic nutrition. The acupressure denies your brain the ability to count the calories. So your body does not realize that we've taken the calories away. Milk, fruits, and vegetables, total nutrition. So a combination of all of those, the body believes it's getting everything it needs because it doesn't have the ability to count calories. What happens? You need energy. The fat in your body was created to sustain you. So what happens? You're not getting enough calories. Your liver will actually convert some of the fat in your body into glycogen, which is a form of sugar. That sugar is used to give you the energy to make up for the calorie deficiency. And since fat has no action, think about it. There is nothing you can share with me that fat does. It just sits there. It's fuel. It's waiting to be used. And now you are using it. But it does not give you comfort. It does not give you comfort from the habits that you've learned as a child. So what do you do? The magic protocol. You choose to choose yourself over temptation. And it works every single time. Imagine, every single time. I told you earlier, I was popping Tic Tacs. And I lost 10 pounds in a week. Not because I didn't want to give in to temptation. I took control by not allowing me the permission to give in to temptation by putting that Tic Tac, by putting that Ready tab in my mouth. Hear me again. I took control. I wanted that temptation. I knew how good it would feel, but I knew how lousy it would feel the moment I did it. But it kept gnawing at me, gnawing at me, gnawing at me, and I was going to give in. And if I were passive, I would have given in. Instead, I put a Ready tab in my mouth. I put 3 Tic Tacs in my mouth. And the taste and the contamination of the taste of the Tic Tacs with the cheat. I know it. I couldn't cheat because I spit it out. And that's what felt so good. I liked me for doing what I did. And I even like me sharing it with you now. Remember what I've told you. One of the reasons I love Alcoholics Anonymous is because when you walk into a room, you're safe. How? Every single person in that room has the same problem you have. Makes no difference who they are. It's the exact same problem. And since I know it and you know it, we're not different. You can tell me what you like. The only difference between us is some of you have done things to keep you from falling back into your addiction. And that is a struggle. But if you have the methodology that you use, it feels good. It feels wonderful. Now, I'm going to offer it in a different way. I have found over these weeks of quarantine, of lockup, whatever you want to call it, that my talking with people has given me incredible learning and feedback. I seem to have helped many people, which makes me feel darn good. Send me an email. DRS at AccuWeight.com. DRS at AccuWeight.com. Give me your phone number. Ask me a question. And remember what I said. How wonderful and good it is for you to be able to allow me to be of assistance. That's why I'm here. That's what Dr. Chu promised me to do. And for 23 plus years, think of that. No, any program out there you see, new, revised, updated, AccuWeight loss has not changed for over 1,000 years. And scientifically, all kinds of stuff is being discovered, like one of the rages nowadays, and you hear it all over, intermittent fasting. Well, gee, when you can't eat from 6 p.m. till 12 the following day, doesn't that sound like intermittent fasting? The program is healthy. The program works. The program is affordable. The program teaches you to make yourself important and how to use being important in your own life to make your life better. DRS at AccuWeight.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk with you. I'll even answer you with a return email. And there, unless it gets overloaded, it will not be a problem. And the reason I say that is I'm a one-finger typist. Now, let me see something here. Oh, Gabby says she's still taking care of her mom. Glad you're there, Gabby. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see what we got here. Shamel, good to hear from you. Hi, Diane. One of the things I always wanted to do was hold group meetings like the Zooms so we could interact. I can't change the fact that I'm Dr. Schwartz. And I realize that I have been trying very hard to be your friend. When Barbara does her videos, she can relate to you because she's living the life that you're living at your level. I'm looking back and have all of this information. And I was a psychologist for over 50 years. Now let me help you understand what that means. No one who ever came to me as a psychologist because they were happy. So every single person who came to me because they were unhappy. And thousands of patients came to me with thousands and thousands of problems. And the strength of my practice suggests they felt I was helpful. Now, wait a minute. Thousands and thousands of patients came to see me with thousands and thousands of problems, and I helped them. How is that possible? And the answer is so simple. There are only a certain number of scripts. They may have slight variations, but it's the same script. A romantic script, a mystery, a murder, a competition. So there are only a certain number of scenarios. My job is to assist you in freeing yourself from the script that you are locked into. Your overweightness is based upon historical behavior that has lasted for whatever number of years. Simple little things like, for example, I read the other day in some magazine that people who have overweight friends tend to be overweight. People who have other kinds of friends tend to be. So we develop habits based upon historical behaviors. Comfort is a very powerful word. Now listen. I can comfort myself by eating something. I can comfort myself by singing a song. I won't. I can comfort myself by doing some Qigong breathing and listening to music. There are many ways that I can comfort myself. But when I comfort myself by taking charge of myself, magic protocol, Qigong breathing, I admit the truth. I want that comfort, even though it's minimal and it's not lasting. I still want it. And I know I'm going to feel guilt and remorse. And that'll just go round in a circle. But if I decide that every single time that I'm considering going off the program, that I admit verbally so that it's real, I breathe 3 Qigong breaths to take control and to realize that I'm ordering myself to do it so I actually am in control. And 3, put the Tic Tacs in my mouth, put the Ready tab in my mouth, knowing that it won't give me the exact same comfort that I would get from giving into the temptation, but it gives me the power to have the power to love myself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with me. I would love and be happy to just schmooze. How's it going? What's happening with? A woman just joined the program. She's here on the East Coast. Her close relative is in Las Vegas. They're both joining the program. They're going to be supportive of each other. They've asked me once a week to join them in a conference call. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, and I don't really care. They want to be successful. And talking is a way to do it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. And in health, I'll see you on the other side. Take care.